Victoria Spiotto is a prodigy. She's a student and future teacher from Northern Virginia. She's finishing her 5th year at the University of Virginia. She has a bachelor's in French government and she's getting a master's in teaching. At school, she leads the Young Americans for Freedom chapter. We have one of those at Hillsdale, and that may be the only place they don't cause trouble. She's also a polyglot who focuses her studies on elementary teaching and language immersion experiences abroad. Victoria.
My name is Victoria Spiotto, and I am a student at the University of Virginia. I love and appreciate my university, which is part of the problem, but also potentially part of the solution that I would like to discuss here today. The University of Virginia was founded by Thomas Jefferson, a man who is notable for his steadfast belief in individualism, natural freedom, and the full and free use of human intellect in the search for truth. Jefferson helped lay the foundation for a government under which every American could pursue happiness as a freely choosing individual. He founded an academic institution with the goal of fostering a community of lifelong learners, people who inquire about the world in search of truth. He hoped that UVA would strengthen this country by being a part of teaching its citizens the lessons of history. Most of all, Jefferson wanted Americans to study the history of liberty and how freedom can sometimes be pushed aside by tyranny. Jefferson's University still lives and fosters innovation and progress to this day. However, some of this academic progress we see in American academia and student culture today is rather regressive. Instead of freely exploring different points of view, which is what college is supposed to encourage, honest debate is sometimes shut down. Labels given for being on the wrong side are based on the simplistic binary of being good or bad as a person. This is harmful because it shrinks the marketplace of ideas on campus and it leaves little space for ideological nuance. In too many American universities today, administrators do not stand up to students who try to silence those with whom they disagree. In some courses, students rarely get a chance to even hear or consider the other side due to things like biased syllabi or agenda-driven professors. In a liberal education, all ideas should be studied, presented, and fairly debated. What's more, the new norm of rewriting or reframing history that now permeates into scores of campus cultures may play a role in endangering the very foundation upon which my university and our country stands, the legacy of the Founding Fathers. While embraced forms of critical theory suggest that it is best to view the world through the paradigm of power and physical characteristics, I believe and stand by the fact that truth stands alone and that we must not surrender our search for it. I do not believe that the principles of liberty and equality written by Thomas Jefferson into the Declaration of Independence are just lies used by the powerful to manipulate the public. Yet that is what critical theory teaches. But truth is not just a trick of the power. In fact, it is the foundation for American prosperity. We should not manipulate truth and history in order to superficially cater to a subjective and often offensive idea of diversity, which views people as only labels and sacrifices the natural individuality within those manufactured groups. As I've been studying and preparing to be a school teacher, I've encountered various ways in which critical theory wrongly finds its place within the field of teacher education. Many academic institutions plant these ideas, and professors and their students water and nourish them unchallenged. Critical theory stands against our founding principles, and above all, the place of equal individual liberty in our society. I do not believe that students should be treated differently because they fit in certain categories. I believe that students are empowered through their inherent value as creations of God. Universities like to portray and define what it means to be culturally aware in divisive ways. This involves manipulating language and reframing reality into something sensational. However, I think cultural awareness is best found by respecting, honoring, and objectively analyzing history. It is not a question of rewriting the past in order to perfect people now. It is a question of learning from foundational thinkers like Jefferson in order to ensure that government arms like public education are built such that they do not infringe on the nature of the young human mind. Just as we all solemnly remembered 9/11 last week, we must not forget the past. By forgetting, truth gets lent to authors before it is handed to our students. The founding, even with its flaws and hypocrisies, was an incredible experiment. Valiant thinkers dared to craft a form of government that respected natural law like never before. This should be viewed through the objective lens and remembered as a part of preserving our way of life. The trends in higher education's cancel culture are dangerous. To cancel the Founding Fathers for being hypocritical is to cancel the very ideas which lie at the basis of civility and individual liberty. The effort to delegitimize the minds and the people which crafted our founding documents is the first step in delegitimizing those very documents and therefore the founding principles. Canceling our history is not justice. It is in fact allowing those of influence or power to redesign justice. Principles like justice, fairness, and truth are principles that should not be redefined and packaged in critical theory's wrapping paper. This rewrapping seeks to foster disdain for the virtues and pillars that allow people to reach their individual potential without needing the government. The Constitution empowers us, especially us young students, to build our own destinies. By regarding our founding documents as sacred, we are inevitably recognizing that we as individuals are of value as well. My university's founder took it upon himself to courageously contribute to a world-changing project. By the same token, why shouldn't young Americans do the same by committing to historical integrity and objective truth at a time when that history is being wrongly reframed? Where the new woke campus culture claims to be unbiased and in support of an objective, non-discriminatory worldview, it actually creates the most selective and prejudiced system of them all, that of concentrated power. When it determines that everything is a question of power, they will use that power to silence others and reframe the truth of our past. Anyone who has read the world history that Thomas Jefferson wanted us to study will know that this is the path to tyranny. May universities continue to be places where great ideas, as opposed to grave injustices, are born. I hope that my reflections on the direction of our colleges and universities can make a positive contribution to the broader discussion we are having here today about our beloved American history. Thank you.
Prodigy indeed. Thank you, Victoria.